Welcome to Faith, Purpose, and Freedom, where we share real hope, real stories, and real inspiration. I am your host, Kayla Roth. Today, I have the honor and blessing of having Aarica Smith with me. She is a productivity coach, a business operations strategist, a keynote speaker, and an author. That is a mouthful. Welcome, Aarica. It is amazing to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I am excited to have you. So, why don't you kind of share with us just a little bit about your story, your background, what led you to being a coach and an author and a speaker?
Mhm. Absolutely. So I have been working in the consulting realm in, ever since I graduated college. So helping people is what I do best. I have a project management background, and I started my consulting business back in 2015 when I actually had a graduate degree that I wasn't using. I had a graduate degree from Savannah College of Art and Design in art administration, where I can help serve nonprofits and people starting their own businesses in the nonprofit industry, and I was not really using it at the time. So I wanted to, while paying these loans off for this graduate degree, I wanted to actually start using the degree. So I started a consulting firm that helped people start their nonprofits, train their board members, and do learning and development for their board members and staff in the nonprofit space. So I started the business then. And then years down the line, I actually added in the coaching practice to my business. And I did that because I noticed there were a few of my clients that while I would give them whatever they asked for, including business plans, fundraising strategies, training, recordings, things like that to help them with their nonprofit business, some of them were not using them the way that I wanted and hoped that they would use them. After I provided you the document, I was hoping that you would get to the finish line as quickly as possible because you now have the template, the blueprint of everything you needed to do. And after talking a little bit to these clients that were not using the resources I provided them, they told me that they didn't have the time or the staff or the resources to really implement in the work that I had provided to them. So what I did was I wanted to help serve people in that capacity by teaching them how to implement and the best way and the most direct way to actually implement their visions and what they're trying to do. So that is where my coaching practice came in earlier last year.
I love that. And it makes sense because as a coach, we have the ability to really set those goals with our clients. We have the ability to hold them accountable, make sure that they're getting to those milestones and figure out what is working and what is not working. So I love that you've been able to transition to be able to help in that space too. So
Absolutely.
can you tell us just a little bit more before we go into coaching, a little bit more about nonprofits? What is, because some people aren't really aware of what a nonprofit is, how you would get it started, and what you would do.
Absolutely. So a nonprofit is a business. That's the first thing I tell everyone because when people come to me saying, I want to start my nonprofit, I have to remind them that it's still a business. You have to treat it as a business entity because you're still producing revenue. And the only difference is with a nonprofit, you are not going to take that profit and divvy it up to your stakeholders, whether it's your board members or you yourself as the founder. The profits from your business, your nonprofit, goes back into your company, meaning that it can go back into your program expenses so you can build out your programming, your operational expenses, anything for your staff in terms of salaries and things like that. But you, as the founder, you may be on the board as the president, or you may have board members. The profit does not go into their pockets, it goes back into your programming. So when people come to me and they say they want to start a business or even start a nonprofit, I work with them on understanding what their vision is for this business. And then we kind of understand where they are when they come to me. Have they started the paperwork with their state that they're living or residing in to form their business? Have they started, if it's a nonprofit, they have to file with the IRS. So we talk through all of the requirements that they have to do, whether it's a for profit business or a nonprofit business. And I work with them to bring that vision to life.
I love that. I love it. So whenever you start a nonprofit and there are ways you can do, like if you have a faith-based nonprofit, am I correct that those ones, you still have to file with the IRS, but you don't actually have to pay taxes, but a regular nonprofit, you do have to pay taxes, right?
So there is a status called tax exempt status. You do have to, if you're looking to have a tax exempt status, you do have to file for that. So that's the 501(c)(3) status that you do have to file for. So whether you're faith-based or not, you have to determine if you're going to file for that tax exemption status. So that way, even if you're going out to a retail store to buy materials or things that you need for an event coming up, you can file the receipts to show that you're tax exempt or show paperwork to the people that you're buying your materials from to say I'm tax exempt. And that way they can remove the taxes from your receipt before you pay for it. So that's really the understanding of what tax exempt is, but it is something you have to file to do because you can still file a business, right? So just filing a business, it will be for profit or nonprofit. Filing the business entity is not the same as filing for your 501(c)(3). So there's an additional step if you're looking for that 501(c)(3) status of being tax exempt versus just being a nonprofit business.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I love that. So, something we talked about in our pre-meeting was the difference between counseling and coaching. And I think it's huge for us to touch this. I know as a coach myself, it's something big because oftentimes someone doesn't want to go to a counselor or they feel stuck. They feel like they go in and we're just talking about the same thing over and over and over again versus coaching, setting people up for success, moving them forward, moving them past where they're stuck. So, do you want to delve into that a little bit?
Absolutely. So for me, it's exactly what you said. Counseling, which again, I am not a counselor. I will tell everybody that from the rooftop, I am not a counselor. I am a coach. Counselors are really focused on helping you get past the things that have impacted you in the past, whether it's some childhood trauma or just some experiences you have that may be holding you back from where you're trying to be. They work on the things that have happened in the past and they are certified in that space to help you see through those things. Coaches, we are more focused on your future. So we're focused on the vision, the strategic planning, getting you from point A to point B. So there may be things that we work with you on as a coach that may come out in our workshops together, such as limiting beliefs or understanding if you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Those are the things that we're going to be talking about with you. But as we dive into understanding you as a person and your personality, as well as the things that are holding you back, there may be topics that we don't touch as a coach, but we will say, hey, you may want to think about talking to a counselor or a therapist about that topic. Because again, I'm not certified in that, but I do recognize that that seems like a pivotal moment or pivotal point in your life that you need to still get some counseling on.
I agree. Yeah, exactly. So when you say fixed or growth mindset, let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, so the fixed growth mindset is as simple as it can be, is when you are saying, these are the only things that I can do, and you're putting yourself in a box. I can't do this won't work, looking at the glass half empty versus the growth mindset is always looking at the glass half full. You're looking for the opportunities, you're looking for the blessing in the trauma, right? These are it's a mindset shift where you're actually changing the outlook that you have on life, but also on the problems that are coming to you. And it is something that you have to condition your mind to do because it's going to take practice. And then just like anything else, you're conditioning yourself into building a new habit. You're going to start seeing that becomes quicker to do, and then it will become effortless to do, right? So like if it's something as simple as, oh, we're about to go on a family picnic, you look outside, now it's about to rain. Well, we can't go. Now we have to sit here and just look at each other because we can't go versus someone with a growth mindset. It's like, oh, it's raining. Can we have a covered picnic pavilion that we can go to and still enjoy each other? Or maybe go in the garage and have the door up, but we're not getting rained on or something creative. So that way the premise of it all is still happening that you're spending family time together, but you're not allowing the negativity to, pun intended, rain
Ruin
down
it.
on your parade.
Right. I love it. I absolutely love it. So with that growth mindset, something we discussed was visionaries. And I loved your aspect of, visionaries often look at wins.
Mhm.
So, kind of dive into that and explain a visionary to us, someone who envisions the future.
So a visionary leader is someone who has the foresight and the vision to put together what they are wanting to be or wanting to do, right? So you may have an idea that comes to you at night or something that you've been kind of thinking about for a while and you're like putting little pieces together, say, I want to build this business or I want to have this type of impact on other people and I want to build this workflow for my team members so they can have an easier way of doing things. Whatever it is that you're envisioning, you are a visionary leader because you can set the stage to say, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to be. This is the type of team that I want to have around me. So you have the vision. The challenge is not all visionary leaders are able to execute. Now, some of them don't have to because some of them have a full team. Once they set the vision, then you have a team that can execute the marketing, the creative, the programming, the project management, all the different things that you need to execute. And then that team that's executing reports back to the visionary leader to say, hey, these are the things that we've done so far. Does it look good? Can we move forward to the next piece? So that person, the visionary leader, is making sure that all the work is being done is in alignment with their vision. However, especially with businesses that are small businesses or solopreneurs or small business entrepreneurs, they may not have a full team to do everything. So a lot of
Right.
times, especially entrepreneurs starting out or solo entrepreneurs, it's just them. They're doing the social media posts, they're doing the marketing, they're doing the creation of the workbooks and getting people to come to their events. It's just them. So when you're working with people who have the vision, but they also have to be able to execute, I want to make sure, especially when I work with them, that they have the tools ahead to do what they need to do to execute. So in my framework that I have in my book, Becoming Unapologetically Unstoppable, we walk through the framework of three different things: gather the requirements. So understanding what you need to do. You're currently here, but you're wanting to get over here. What are those requirements in order to get there, right? Understanding what the vision is and making sure that that is very clear to you of what the vision is. Then you're going to put a plan in place. Putting that plan in place is going to be the steps or the mile markers that you take to get from point A to point B. So if point A is that you want to have right now you are a person who does not have a business, but you want to be at point B, a person who has a business, let's say baking cakes. So that is the vision. You want to open up a cake shop. So then what we're going to
Yeah.
do is for your plan, we're going to understand, okay, when do you want to do it? What are the things we need to do? Okay, so do you have to have a certification? If so, we need to go and get that. Do you need to have a building or can you build it from your home? So all these different things are setting up what the requirements are so that way we know what the path is going to be to get to the destination of destination B, right? And then at the
Yeah.
very end, when we have our plan in place, that plan is our roadmap. That plan is going to say, okay, step one, we're going to get our certification. Step two, we're going to gather the recipes that we want to focus on. So I want my key lime box cake to be my number one hit. So this is the one that I need to have the recipe for. Do I need to hire staff? All these things on your roadmap. Once you have your roadmap together, now it's time to execute. So in my book and in the framework, we talk through how to execute, how to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable, any other team members that you have accountable, how to navigate through roadblocks and road bumps because they're going to be some. Nothing given to you is going to be given to you very easily. You have to work for the
Right.
vision that you have. And then we talk through how to have those mini celebrations along the way because your journey may be long. You want to make sure that you have the fuel to get to the end of your journey. So that includes
Yeah.
um, having these mini celebrations. Whenever you hit a milestone, celebrate that. Feel the need to go out and do something for yourself, or it could be as big or as small as you want it to be. But you have to have those moments because those moments are going to carry you forward through those late nights and early mornings. So making sure that you're executing, you're holding yourself accountable or having someone hold you accountable, reaching out to your community of people who are going to support you. And throughout your community, you're going to have different people in different roles. You're going to have people who are your advocates. You're going to have champions. You're going to have cheerleaders. So you have different people in your community that are going to help you get to where you need to go. Because again, the road does get very dark sometimes and just very long. So you need to have these checkpoints for yourself but also with your community so they can cheer you on and also answer any questions you may have. You may have someone who has done this before and they're in your community. So you can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm trying to build this business. Did you ever get caught up on this issue? Oh, yeah, I did this and this is what I did. So you have people in your corner, but you have to keep the ball moving and make sure that you're hitting your deadlines and hitting the things that you want in order to reach your goals.
Right. So, how would you recommend someone build the community? Because oftentimes I know for me, even when I entered into this realm of life, it was different for me because I grew up in a family that was very poor.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really grow up with a lot of family support. My mom is all I have. Um, so for me, that was tough. And it was learning to navigate through that. And then growing or living in a community where others are struggling, people are really having a tough time. A lot of people and friends even did not understand what I was doing. And I had to really be okay with moving to different tables. I
Mhm.
had to learn that it was okay. I still love all of them, don't get me wrong. And part of my podcast donations goes towards helping people that can't financially afford to be able to pay for coaching. So I offer some free coaching. And trust me, I get a lot of backlash from other mentors about it, but it's just something heavy on my heart. Um, so for me, I had to really become okay and I had to find a community of people. My podcast entered me into a community of people, but someone who maybe is just a little bit lost and struggling with that confidence, what would you recommend they do?
So the first thing I would say is you're exactly right. Like you have to evaluate who your current community is right now so that you can see what gaps you have to fill, right? You said it was just you and your mom, and that's a good start. And then that way you can say, okay, what do I have for my mom? Is she knowledgeable in the goal that I'm trying to do? Does she have any insight that can help me? She may not. She may just be your cheerleader. So I talk about in my book, like even when I was in high school, I was taking AP courses in high school, and my mom, as smart as she is, she wasn't in the class with me. So the most that she could do was just kind of come into the kitchen where I was studying and say, like, do you need anything? Do you, you want me to turn the light on a little brighter? You want some hot cocoa? Things like that. So some people may not be able to help you in that way of actually the expertise, but they may be able to help you in cheering you on, right? So you definitely need that. Um, the other pieces in terms of building your community is looking at your actual community around you. If there's family members or other business like minded people in your space, whether it's in your actual community where you live, or even now we have so many communities that we can be a part of online, going into a space of looking to say, okay, how many Facebook groups or even Eventbrite has meetups or things like that where you can say, I want to go and meet people who are either entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, or even with the same example that I was talking about earlier, those who are, wanting to make a bakery business, finding a creative group of business entrepreneurs, meaning that they understand, okay, it's not all numbers and spreadsheets for me. It's really about how do I have my creative expression in my business? So maybe you want to find a group of entrepreneurs who are more on the creative side, but it is something where you have to actually put yourself out there, which is hard. I'm an introvert myself. So to me, it's very hard to put myself out there because I love being underneath my blanket and watching Netflix all day long, but you can't build a business that way.
No.
So you do have to find your community, and it does take some practice. So you're not going to always
Yeah.
find the first community is going to be the best one. It's not. But putting yourself out there and then start understanding, oh, well, when I went to this meetup, they did this and I really like this and I met this person there. So maybe I need to find more people that do this, or maybe that person is going to refer me to another group. But just keep your options open and start understanding what you like and what you don't like. Unfortunately, because not a lot of people like to date, but it's like dating. You have to go out and find the people who gel with you. And then you have to find the communities that, okay, I like this community. They're very laid back and it's not stuffy. I don't have to wear a suit. And they actually enjoy talking to each other. And instead of just having a business meeting every Wednesday, they go bowling on Saturdays too. So it's a real community, but figuring out what works best for you, your personality, as well as your lifestyle.
Yeah. And I just want to also tune in onto that. Facebook groups are amazing. You're going to meet amazing people. A lot of people running workshops. And that's one thing I did. I started with nothing. I tell everybody if I can do this, there's no reason, no excuses on the table. I have 6 children. I I was working full-time and a part-time job and was still building a business behind the scenes. And so I mean, I built my website from scratch. I had no idea what I was doing. I took every free Google Coursera course I could take. I learned about search engine optimization. I delved in. I learned about technology and the internet world. And we live in a world of AI. AI will teach you anything. You ask it the question, you argue with it.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't tell you the number of nights at 3 a.m. I was arguing with ChatGPT. No kidding here. And I did, and it will give you step by step what to do. A lot of people are against AI, but AI is great when you use it as a tool, just like a calculator. And so it led me through that. So definitely finding those tools and resources is so important. Um, Aarica, I want to dive a little deeper into your book. I know we mentioned it a little bit and you told us a little bit about it. What led you into writing your book?
Actually, very funny because I was not looking to write a book at all. It just kind of came to me. And again, when you are, when a vision is put in your heart by God and you just kind of like, I don't want to write a book. I'm just going to do this other thing. And it keeps coming to you. And then you have people coming up, you should write a book. And I'm like, can we keep that quiet? Like that's not something I want to do. But again, when a vision is laid upon your heart by God, you have to answer because it's going to keep showing up whether you want it to or not. So I just said, okay, let me just see what this is like. And I just started writing and outlining, okay, this is what I want to teach people. This is how I want the book to serve. And that's really how I think is like, okay, it's not for me, right? Like I'm not someone who wants to be an author of 7 different titles and all this. It's like, okay, this book, vision is this. This is how I want it to help people. This is how I want it to serve in the community. So for me, the book, Becoming Unapologetically Unstoppable, talks through the framework of how to become the best version of yourself. It allows people to stop apologizing for their ambition because I know there are a lot of people out there that have these ideas and people are looking at you crazy to say, what makes you think you can do that? Or what, weren't you just doing a different business 2 years ago and now you're over here doing this? It is not their vision that has your vision on hold, right? Your vision is your vision and your vision alone. That is what the vision that God gave you, and it's up to you to answer it and to fulfill that vision. It's no one else's business what that vision is. Yes, you were a baker last 2 years ago and you had a baking company, and now you're moving over to doing a creative sweatshirt company. Not a problem. That's your vision and how you're going to serve. But what needs to happen is that you need to stop apologizing for your ambition and start mastering your execution. So in my book, we focus on understanding who you are, making sure your mindset is in the right place so that you can see the blessings and the opportunities in front of you and not see them as challenges or ways to turn around and retreat back away from your vision. So we want to make sure that the mindset is correct before you get into whatever your vision is. And again, it doesn't have to be you starting a business. It could be you trying to graduate from your graduate program or you trying to set up an opportunity for your community to have a garden, things like that. Whatever your vision, your goal is, my book is really helping you to get from your vision, making that a very clear and plain vision. So that way, and the Bible says, write it down and make it plain. What your vision is, making sure that it's clear. And then we're going to work to get a plan in place, get all the requirements, and then execute that vision. So we're making sure that you have all the tools to repeat this muscle of you being able to execute.
Yeah, I love it. And the one thing you said that really just I say this all the time. God gave you the vision, nobody else. It's nobody else's business. So never apologize for the vision that was given to you. That
Exactly.
that's that's just so huge for me. I know a lot of people looked at me and they're like, "What's a coach? Like, what does that even mean?" I'm actually running a workshop this Friday because some people I know are amazing at helping people and people just open up to them and go to them and I'm like, "Why aren't you coaching? Like you're helping and mentoring people along the way." So, my workshop this Friday is kind of for those people along with the people that are like, "What is coaching? Like why coaching?" Who's a coach?
Right.
So, I think it's really important. A lot of people just don't understand what that is, but it doesn't matter what you're doing, and just be open to having those conversations, because oftentimes people truly just they don't know. They're unaware of what you're doing.
And what I tell people all the time is the greatest athletes have coaches. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. Like all the athletes in different sporting industries have coaches. And it's not because they can't do it by themselves. I'm sure Michael Jordan can shoot threes by himself. However, having a coach is still going to give you that extra advantage because you have someone in your corner. And that's what I tell people a coach is, because people are like, are you going to help me do the work that I need to do because you're a productivity coach? I'm going to help you understand how to get out of your own way. Now, I can't do the work for you because I'm a coach. I'm not implementing it for you, but I'm also asking you the hard questions of like, okay, well, why do you feel like you can't do that? What is stopping you from going that way? Okay, so yes, I understand that it was raining today, but what about yesterday and the day before? Why have you not moved on this thing? So we can kind of understand the deeper meaning of what's prohibiting you from moving forward and attack that so that we can move forward. Excuses are,
Right.
everybody has excuses. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. It matters what you do with those hours in a day. You could be up at 5 o'clock in the morning working on your business or working on your goal, and then working your 9 to 5 job, and then after 5 o'clock, working on it again. But those who are able to move the needle forward or reach their goals is because they understand that with my 24 hours, I choose to do this with it.
Right. And this is the biggest thing is I think that oftentimes people come up with those excuses and they let their self get stopped. They're like, "Oh, you know what? I was scrolling on Facebook." I feel like, social media draws us away. I used to be her. I'd be scrolling. I had all these plans and envisions in my head, but I also had to have a coach that was like, "Okay, Caleb, but like you scrolled for an hour and that's an hour of productive work you could have got done." So I actually I had a lady just the other day, she recommended that she turns notifications off on her phone.
Hmm.
I
Yep.
turn them off. I get no notifications. I put my phone on do not disturb. The only people that can get through to me is my mother, my husband, and my children.
Hmm.
And I turn all notifications off while I'm doing work, and it's amazing because it kind of just keeps you getting things done, and I get things done a lot faster,
Right.
and I'm a lot more productive in my day than whenever I would pick up my phone every time it would ding or buzz, and I'm looking at it, and then you end up on something else, and I really control screen time in my home as a whole, and it's just been a lot more helpful for myself, my family, my children, because our kids are watching us. And if they see us scrolling, what do you think they're going to do? And
Exactly. They're going to scroll as well. And that to me is like when people talk about, oh, what are the hacks that you use to stay productive? Or what are the things that you do to stay busy? It's not a hack. It's really a system and a process that you're putting in place. So even what you just mentioned about having a system of putting your do not disturb on or turning off your notifications, it's not a hack. It is a system to say, hey, between this time and this time, I'm focused. I'm doing these things. I'm a visual person
right,
myself, so even in my office over here, I have my 2026 vision, and it's very clear. I have 3 things that I'm doing this year. Any other ideas that I have on, "Ooh, I wanna start a YouTube channel. Oh, I wanna go and do this, and I wanna have these events." My husband helps me. He'll say, "Well, what does that have to do with the 3 things you listed over here?" And I'm like, nothing. So then what I do is I put it in a parking lot. So I put it on a sticky note, put it on the vision board to the side to say, okay, I don't want to forget that idea, but it's not something that is going to move the needle for what the 3 things I said I wanted to do right now this year. So that way I'm starting to build what I want to do next year, but I need to focus. And exactly what you said, turning the notifications off. You can even take that a step further. In your phone, you can actually tell your phone to stop allowing you to go on social media apps after you spent so many hours or so many minutes doing it, right? So if you say, okay, after 30 minutes of scrolling in one day, it won't let you go back on your Facebook or your Instagram app because it's saying, hey, you've reached your maximum. That's what I do for my kids as well. It's like once they've reached their maximum for the day, I say, okay, go find
yep,
something else to do.
right. Pick up a book.
Pick up a book, go outside. There are plenty of
Right,
things to do
right.
besides scrolling.
No, and I love that. And it's been so important for me. And it's all about mindset. It's really about mindset. And I mean, I am vulnerably just honest. I had to get to a point where I truly wanted change in my life. And I had to make the changes. Nobody made them for me, and
Mhm.
nobody will make them for you. Like, nobody's going to make the change for you. You have to want it enough. And I'm just very honest with my clients. Like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you. We're going to set the steps. I do quarterly vision statements and I run a workshop at the end of each quarter. I think it's huge and it's important to really set those goals each quarter. We have our big goals for the end of the year that we
Mhm.
want to have accomplished. But to get there, we have to have small goals. And so I always am like, okay, so where are you at the end of this quarter? Where are we at? Look at those big goals. Are you near them? What needs to happen so that we can get there? And so we set those goals and we do it together. And this last workshop was really amazing. And a lot of the feedback I got was great because people were really realizing, like, I wasn't tuning in.
Yeah.
So I love that, and, now I'm going to steal some of your, ideas. I think I'm gonna make me a vision board and some sticky notes because I love that. It's just
It just helps from a visual standpoint because you get good ideas all the time and you're like, "Oh," even if you're
yeah,
scrolling, you're like, "Hey, this person's doing that. That seems like something I can do." And it's like, "Okay, well, how does that go into the 3 or 4 goals you have for the year?" If it does,
yeah,
great, but if it doesn't, put it in the parking lot so you don't lose it, and then you can marinate on that a different day, but, like, right now, you
mhm,
gotta focus. So, and including people who have businesses, if you have to make revenue, I love operations. I love being in the back end of things, making sure there's a system and a process and tweaking all the things. But honestly, if you're not making revenue, AKA not making offers, not AKA not making a sales opportunity for someone, you're not able to get a client. If you're not able to get a client, then you're not making revenue. And then what you have is
right.
just a hobby. You don't have a business. If you don't have any revenue coming in the door, then your focus should be every week, how many offers did you make this week? Even if it's like, okay, I made 3. Those are 3 opportunities to put revenue in the door. But if you go a whole month without making offers to anybody, but you're tweaking your website colors and you're also over here posting on social media, but you haven't made any offers, meaning I contacted this person via email or on a phone call to say, "Hey, I have an opportunity for you. I would love to talk to you about it." That is making an offer. I'm not saying making an offer on social media because that's a post, right? I'm talking about
Right.
actually picking up the phone, meeting someone for lunch, or sending an email saying, "Hey, I have this opportunity of a workshop. I would love for you to participate. Click here so you can learn more, or let's get on a call so I can talk to you about it." But you have to understand what you're doing in your business because if your business relies on you making offers and getting revenue in the door, you need to make sure that's part of your weekly agenda, right? So, yes, it's great if your website is top notch and has all the colors, but you don't have to have a website to make an offer. You have to have an
Right.
offer. So understanding
Right.
what you really need in your business at this moment is going to carry you through. And that's going back to understanding what your vision is and having very clear objectives of what you have to do to get to where you're trying to go. Because if you need revenue in the door, tweaking your website and putting social media posts together is not going to get revenue in the door. That's going to be more about brand awareness and saying, "Oh, well, my hex color for my website is this, hashtag FFH or whatever." But if your business relies on getting revenue in the door, you need to look at what your calendar is for the week and make sure that you have time blocked off to do the things that actually matter to your business. So that's one part of it, especially like if you're looking at revenue. But if you're looking at, hey, I'm a blog writer and most of my content comes in the morning or I need to write, then you need to make sure that your calendar reflects what you need to do in your business. So if you need to set time away every morning to say between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m., I'm writing so I can put 3 blogs together per day, that's what you need to do. But again, having that
Right.
clarity of what your business is and what does it need to hit the needle that you have set, then you can say, okay, my time has to be devoted to this area so that I can continue pushing the needle forward.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. I thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with us today. There is so much meat in this podcast. It's for people to just learn. Erica, if someone needed to connect with you, how would they do that?
Absolutely. So you can find me at aaricajsmith.com, which is two A's, Aarica, jsmith.com. We actually have a free opportunity for you to learn more about your individual productivity personality because there are levels to this. Everybody's personality is different. So there on my website, when you go to aaricajsmith.com, there is a free productivity quiz. It only takes 2 minutes. It's 7 questions. And from there, you'll be able to get a full profile of what your productivity personality is, as well as your number one time wasters and the strategies to combat that. All for free, comes directly into your inbox. So we have that available. You can contact me there if you're looking for opportunities to work with me and also to buy my book. Becoming Unapologetically Unstoppable. You can find it on my website or at its own website at becomingunapologeticallyunstoppable.com.
I love it. And I will be sharing both of those in the description. What key takeaway do you have for our listeners today?
My key takeaway for everyone is there is nothing in this world that you cannot do. If you shift your mindset, you shift your day, and you shift your perspective on life. Don't cheat yourself out of the opportunities that are meant for you because you're thinking too small. Don't apologize for your ambition. Start mastering your execution. Work with whether it's me as your coach or Kayla as your coach. Find someone to be in your corner so they can cheer you on from the sidelines because the moment that you cross that finish line is so much sweeter knowing that you had a community around you. But there is absolutely nothing that you cannot do in this life if you put your mind to it and you start focusing on the right things.
Absolutely. I love it. Erica, thank you so much for being with me today. And we just will share all of the details in the description to connect with Erica. I love everything you brought, all the encouragement, all the wisdom. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Hey, everyone, stay blessed, and we will see you in the next episode.